Do you remember that time that the Pokemon anime became a furry anime? No, really. And no, the missing the thumbnail isn't entirely clickbait. Take a look at this clip. Yeah, that's fake. Granted, it looks pretty convincing, I'm not gonna lie. This episode is an edit from the Electric Soldier Porygon episode, and it's completely fan-made, but it did take over the internet. I wonder why. But this is real, and the fandom has dubbed it Ashachu. And in today's throwback episode review, I want to take a look at Pokemon episode 241, Hocus Pokemon. Give my thoughts along the way, and maybe give you some Easter eggs you didn't know existed. And after that, we can talk about other times characters got transformed into Pokemon too. The episode begins with Ash and gang on their way to Blackthorn City when a Murkrow appears in front of them, seemingly trying to show them something. Then this magician girl comes running towards them, and she has a terrible fake British accent. Like, it's better than mine, but like everyone's British accent is better than mine. And well, there's no way her accent isn't a nod to Harry Potter. She goes and yanks Pikachu and introduces herself to be Lily, a Pokemon magician. Oh, maybe she's a reference to Lily Potter. She says that she needs Pikachu's Thunderbolt for a new trick for her magic show, but she's been unable to find a Pikachu recently. The gang takes turns introducing themselves, with Brock hitting her with the "I fell under your spell, Riz," and then Misty proclaiming that she's always wanted to be a Pokemon magician. Like, really, girl? Brock then says he's never actually met a Pokemon magician.
Wow, but as interesting as all this sounds, I don't think I've ever actually met a Pokemon magician before.
Which is wrong, because in episode 43, The March of the Executor Squad, they met Melvin, who was a Pokemon magician. Brock is a liar, and we can't trust him anymore. Lily says Pokemon magic is really just science, and it's all about gathering the right materials. She opens up her spellbook and then tells Missy that she's gonna make her a skin smoothing spell. She combines the ingredient, says a terrible incantation, and then fires off the spell, which has Spinarak fall down and use String Shot on Misty. It is said that the silk that they use for this String Shot is really good for the skin. They actually cut a scene from the dub for some reason where they apologize to Misty due to her arachnophobia, but yeah. Lily wants to make a spell that allows people to read Pokemon's minds, but her family has never been able to get it for centuries due to lacking a Pikachu's Thunderbolt. And damn, that is 100% a skill issue if no one in your family can do that for centuries. The legacy of being lame magicians doesn't count. Of course, Ash volunteers his Pikachu to help with the spell. She opens up her spellbook and lists the ingredients, and there's another dub edit here. You see this random flower? Well, it was actually a Jinx in the original, but they had to eradicate her from existence in the dub. This is now the second time Jinx has appeared in my throwback episode reviews, which you should totally check them out in the playlist on my channel. I mean, honestly, some of my best content. She says that she needs Stun Spore from a Parasect, and luckily Murkrow found one so they get to it right away. Ash challenges the battle to get it to use the move, but says Thunderbolt is too much, so he uses Thunder Spark instead. Yep, a totally real and official move. Mind you, Thundershock exists. Parasect retaliates with a powder move, which Murkrow blows away, and it turns out that's because it was Sleep Powder and not Stun Powder, which by the way Parasect can't even legally use. Pikachu again uses Thunder Spark and gets Parasect to use Stun Spore, which Lily vacuums up. Now we got some Luigi's Mansion action going on here. Banger game by the way, you should definitely play it if you haven't already. Team Rocket takes a chance and steals Pikachu here. Lily is happy to see Meowth because he's cute, and she needs the dirt from under his paw, but blows up their balloon and begins to chase them. They're hanging on the edge of a cliff rock that's about to break, so Brock says that they should approach this nice and easy, when Lily just rushes right at them, needing the dirt more than anything. She gets the dirt, and as soon as she leaves the cliff rock, it breaks, blasting off Team Rocket for a second time this episode. Well, this is more like falling off, but yeah, you get the point. I'm sure we won't be seeing them again, right? So now with the Stun Spore from Parasect and the dirt from Meowth's paw, everything should be fine and dandy for Lily, right? Nope, she needs one more thing. Tears from an Apom. That's not very kind. Kinda funny that my episode review last month was on Dawn's Abipom, and somewhat tears too. Ash begins to call for Apom in the middle of the forest when one actually spawns right next to them. They begin to chase Apom, and what would you know, but Team Rocket is back. Ash and gang surround Apom, and it looks like they're about to capture it, but Team Rocket snags it away at the last second. They also see her bag of ingredients, and Jessie says,
"Oh, poor little witch."
But imagine if she said,
"Oh, poor little witch."
Team Rocket goes away, and they are going through her bag and reading through her book of spells, which somehow James has seen before and knows this language. In order to get her Tears of Apom, Jessie is ready to throw hands, but James stops her and says that tears achieved through violence won't work. So James has a plan to tell jokes that are done their best to be translated into English, but the Mr. Mime one is clever.
When's Mr. Mime not a Pokemon? When it's a pool shark
And it works because in Japanese, Mr. Mime's name is Variado, which is really close to billiards. No matter how many banger jokes James says, Apom is unfazed and doesn't even remotely laugh at them, and honestly, as a pun enthusiast, I really can relate. It's too bad the puns don't really work in English, but trust me, they really work in Japanese. That is if you're into puns. Now it's Meow's turn to try and get some tears, and he does a hand puppet play and goes for the tears of sadness this time, but it was only him and James that fell under that spell, as Apom was not affected. Finally, it's Jessie's turn, and she gets her acting chops on and delivers a heartfelt performance with her even dying cold on the floor, and it made Apom fall asleep. She grabs Apom and tells her that she's gonna put him to sleep for real, and man, I just love OS humor so much. Ash and gang finally catch up to them, and Pikachu and Weezing are battling. Brock unties Apom, who swiftly runs away. Weezing runs out of sludge for some reason, and after a Swift from Murkrow and a Thunderbolt from Pikachu, Team Rocket is gone for the third time today. Their Blastoff is enough to make Apom laugh so hard, he cries out and sheds a single tear. And as Ash goes to capture it with a medicine bottle, he trips, but Pikachu gets it and catches a single tear mid-air. Honestly, send this guy to the bigs. He could be the best outfielder there ever was. Mike Trout who? Pikachu. With Shuckle's secret cure, the powdered horn of Stantler, some yogurt made from the milk of Miltank, and a flower marked with the kiss of a jinx, Parasect Stunspore, and the dirt from Meow's claw, and last but not least in Apom's tear, Lily's potion is complete. And lord, that was the longest list of ingredients ever, yo. The cauldron starts to bubble, Ash volunteers to take the potion first, and after Lily chants her spell, a Thunderbolt from Pikachu works, and what would you know it, Ashachu is born. It turns out that the rest of the spell continues to the next page, and she didn't notice. But Lily tells him not to worry because the transformation only works until the spell wears off, and Ash will be transformed back to normal. And the episode ends there. He actually starts the next episode as Ashachu, but no exaggeration, he transforms back in 11 seconds, so it was never really acknowledged or brought up ever again. Okay, let me give my thoughts and review on this episode before I continue with the other few times we have gotten the furry route in Pokemon. And yeah, this was a really random episode. No new Pokemon introductions, the story of this episode was alright, and the comedy was up there, but so were most filler episodes in Johto. This was a tried and true Johto filler episode. Hell, you can call it one of the fillers of all time. It feels like they wanted to make Ashachu and just squeeze a scenario for it to happen. Mind you, Ashachu was on screen for a total of, and I'm not exaggerating, 1 minute and 30 seconds, and that's a stretched out across 2 episodes. This episode's release date also just makes no sense. I feel like this could have easily been spun as a Halloween themed episode. I mean, with all the filler, they couldn't just land this on Halloween. Regardless, I'll be stamping this episode with a 4 out of 10 rating. It gets its leniency because it's a filler episode. Was it an okay watch? Sure. Would I go out of my way to watch this episode again? Hell no. But in terms of filler, there is definitely worse out there. Now, this wasn't the only instance of a human getting transformed into Pokemon in the main series. If you watch the Rise of Darkrai movie, which by the way is a goated movie, and I remember watching it growing up, hell, I even watched a TV debut on Cartoon Network back in the day, so I have real fond memories with it. In the movie, there's a minor antagonist named Baron Alberto, and at some point in the movie, he's transformed into his Licky Licky. After his Licky Licky fell asleep due to Darkrai's Dark Void, Palgia's space disruption, a nightmare causes Baron Alberto to transform into it. I don't know why, but I thought he was like Licky Licky for the entire movie, but he only stayed transformed for 13 minutes, which is honestly way less than I expected. And while not strictly transformation, nor is it main series, the Mystery Dungeon mini animated series was a stroke of genius, which sadly only ever got 5 episodes. I don't know about you guys, but I really love the Mystery Dungeon spin-offs. Hell, that was the first ever video I made on this channel, and I was hoping for Explorers of Sky to come to Switch, and sadly it still hasn't. We even had that Poketoon episode where the girl transforms into Gengar, but again, that's not main series, but still, a good watch. But what's your favorite case of furry representation in the Pokemon anime? And what did I miss? But for now, it's been your boy LUAPER, and I'm out. Peace.